Hi everyone, welcome to AME's 2-Second Lean Tour Series. I'm Richard Evans and I'm your co-facilitator for today's session. We've been all over the world this year to visit some great companies, and today's no exception. We're going to be visiting a traffic safety supply company in Portland, Oregon. So after a quick trip from Toronto to Portland, I'm going to hand you over to Paul, who's our co-host for today.
Okay, well, thanks, Richard. Thanks, everyone, for coming. This is going to be really cool. You know, when I first I got a glimpse of what Jeff and his team were doing, I watched it on an 80-inch TV, and it was better than any Netflix movie or any YouTube documentary. I was like, whoa, holy mackerel. This is first class all the way. Incredible culture. Jeff, it's all yours. Let's go.
Hi, thanks for joining us. I'm Jeff with Traffic Safety Supply Company located in Portland, Oregon. Our purpose is to save and enrich lives. We do this through manufacturing signs like this ADA sign, all the way up to this big guide sign. In addition, we distribute a wide variety of products, including cones, barrels, barricades, roll-up signs, a variety of signposts and delineators, variable message signs, intrusion alarms, LED-enhanced signs, rapid flashing beacons, and impact attenuators that can take a vehicle from 60 to 0 and deliver the occupant safely home to their family at night. The products that we sell save lives, and this is why we always want to keep improving. So in early 2021, I found Lean. I was looking online for how to be a more effective leader, and I stumbled across Paul Akers' upflip video. And immediately the concepts that he was explaining to me, the things that he was telling me about, it just hit me like a lightning bolt. And I thought, okay, who's this Paul guy? And so I started listening to his book, 2-Second Lean, and I got to the 4th chapter, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta stop. And my whole team, we all need to listen to this together. So immediately, 2 days later, I came in here, we set up, we started listening to chapter by chapter, and that's how we got into Lean. And I will tell you that if I had one thing that I could change about that implementation, is that I was seeing all the great improvements that other companies had made and where they were at on their journey, and I wasn't really honoring where our team was at on their journey. And if I could give any advice to any leader out there, it's that be grateful for what you have. Be grateful that you're on the path of Lean, because if you look at what you don't have, you're going to push your team too hard, and it's not fair for them. You're going from a culture where you have virtually undefined structure, undefined standards, and that's your fault as a leader. That's what you need to realize as a leader. And so don't push your people too hard. Work with them, help develop them, and soon enough, it will take over and your culture will start to grow. So how do we practice Lean? We stand right here every day and we have a morning meeting. This brings all of us together as a team. We start out every meeting with stretching. This gets our blood pumping and gets us moving. And we have a different person lead the meeting every day. At the beginning of it, they'll show pictures of their home life or their family or what they did over the weekend, and this brings a sense of community and helps us understand each other. Then we look at our workload minutes, our issues, our late orders. What tools do we need? Do we need to make an improvement? Is there a tool that's broken, or is there something that needs to be fixed that needs to go on a more formal list? Then we have an open forum, and this gives everyone the opportunity to talk about whatever's on their mind as it relates to how that day is going to move forward or challenges that we're facing. Discussing the 8 ways is also a very important part of our meeting. We need to understand them so that we can try to eliminate them. And then we end every meeting with the raving fans, and that allows us to shout each other out, hey, great job, thanks for having my back, and it just builds an overall sense of community. We also like to have fun. We feel that getting together is super important for us as a team. We have an opportunity to play a little Plinko, win some prizes when it's our birthdays and anniversaries. Lizzie puts on the most amazing spreads, and then we have a Halloween costume party, do a little dancing, bust some moves out. And we're finding that that's a lot of fun. And then we play some team building games. That gives us a chance to learn some Lean skills and also just have fun as a group. If you do well at Plinko, you can make a 3-pointer like that. That's our first ever right there. So those are some of the things we do as a group. And that morning meeting provides a great opportunity for us to come together as a team. So then directly after the morning meeting, we get into 3S. We sweep, we sort, we standardize. We have a schedule where we'll do maintenance items on an ongoing basis, and everyone gets to participate in that. We have all of our members on the team that participate in cleaning the bathrooms and the break room and outdoor areas. And then other people in the company during 3S time can look on to make improvements in their workstation so it sets up their day to be optimized. One of the ways that we share our improvements across our organization is that we have a signal chat, and that allows us to inspire one another. And a lot of times what we'll find is that good ideas will have that lateral transmission of information, Yokoten, and other people can understand what's going on. It just gives us the opportunity to recognize each other, and then we use these videos to pull into our morning meetings so that everyone can see what's going on within the organization. I want to show you our skills matrix now. This has been really important for us as a company because it's helped our teammates self-direct their growth. There's nothing worse than we bring in a really talented teammate and then they feel like they're stifled or they've got some kind of a ceiling or they're not growing. We always need to have our people be able to grow in their skill set. They should become better versions of themselves through working here. We have a SOP for how to use this. We have QR codes that show that you could scan and then your manager learns about it. Our team can work on how do we support your growth the best. But this, along with so many other things in this company, don't come from us. This comes from the overall lean community. And I've never met a more supportive group of individuals. And if there's any way we can help any of you, please let us know. Let's go look at the Lean Cave. All right, so this is our Lean Cave. I'd like you to meet Ben in here, and he's going to talk to us about how we got to this point, everybody. But before we do, I remember early on in our journey, we'd look at Alex Ramirez and his Lean Cave, and those guys at Valorec were on point. They had chrome on it. It was pretty. And we're getting there. We're working on it, but it's been getting better and better. Right? So do you want to go through with the team what we have here?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, this is our Lean Cave. This is probably my favorite. In fact, it is my favorite room in the whole building. The team has, I think this is our third or fourth iteration of this. They've been working on it. We have everything you need to do a project of any kind, a continuous improvement project. We have GPS dots, we have floor tape, GPS tape, Velcro, all kinds of binding, all kinds of hooks, anything you need to get a project done, we've got. And if you ever feel as if we don't have something, in the spirit of continuous improvement, we always have another way to make that improvement. So in this situation, we have a QR code that allows people to scan that and request a new tool or new item. Something else I just love in the Lean Cave is Kaizen foam. This is a great product. We learned about this from Paul Akers, and it's phenomenal. The best part about this is it creates a very strong visual control and standard. There is no way that you can't figure out which wrench goes into which place. It is wonderful. Even my kids, I wish I could do this with all their toys, honestly. So GPS tape as well. So if you ever need to find or rehome a tool, you know where that goes. And if you've ever needed to make this in the Lean Cave, we have the toolkit right here to do that. We have a little Kaizen caddy, as we call it, and it's got Kaizen corners and tape, and we know the color that exists in this space. If you ever need resupply, you can just look at this crumb trail right here, and it leads you right back to the Lean Cave where this red square is. If you have never used Kaizen foam or cut it before, I had never used any of this. In this case, for many people, we have procedures for this. And so I don't know about you, but one of the things that we keep butting our heads against is when we have information, we tended to lock it away in a vault, in a secret vault. And when we tried to find that document or that information, the problem was that we never knew where it was. It was like a scavenger hunt, and that was never the best use of our time. So what we really wanted to focus on was making sure that we got SOPs and procedures out in the field, or out in the wild, as we call it. And we're going to now show you a few examples of those in different iterations. So now we're creating standards, which I like to think of as having a good recipe. When everyone knows the steps, there's just less guesswork, and we're not stuck repeating the same instructions over and over again, and things just run smoother. Our struggle has always been, where do we keep the info? Normally, we've just been hiding things in the back of the digital closet, but now we're focused on putting the answer exactly where the question is asked, and this has been making life a whole lot easier. We do like one-on-one training, but we'd rather have the resources that everyone could access anytime they need. So that way, we're not always waiting on someone to be free to explain things or have silos where information gets stuck. At the end of the day, by making things accessible and setting up some clear guidelines, we've been saving time, money, and our sanity. Work smarter, not harder, what we like to say. So you just saw some of our SOPs out in the wild. You can't talk about SOPs without talking about Kanban, and you can't talk about either of those things without talking about Gemba docs. I want to give a shout out to Tom Hughes. Very big thank you. We use Gemba docs a lot for all of our SOPs as well as our Kanban. The reason why we use Kanban, if you haven't discovered this, it's a fantastic tool. We have an ERP system, but it doesn't address our consumables. It doesn't address it at all. So we now have a Kanban system, a Kanban card system. This is fantastic. This is about, I think, the 5th version of this particular Kanban system. We have struggled with trying to find the best way to attach it without knocking it, break it, things like that. We're now on this nice slider, which it comes green and red. We just put a QR code in here. We put a little bit of the product information. Someone comes up and scans it, slides it over. It's red. We all know visually that these are in order. When they come in, it simply goes back to green and we're going again. And so that is Kanban.
So the 8th waste is unused employee genius, and I would say nothing more epitomizes that waste than how we were operating pre-lean. Thomas has done some amazing things with our 3D printer. Can you talk to us about some of the improvements you made and how lean has unlocked your genius?
Yeah, since we got the 3D printer, there's been all sorts of issues that bug me around here, so I've been fixing a lot of them. There's casters that roll around on their own sometimes, so I've created caster chucks for those. There's plenty of times that we need a flashlight handy. I've created little flashlight holders so we can grab those when we need them. There's a little holder piece on the router that holds equipment for that. There's the Plinko discs for the fun Plinko board we got. And there's a little shoe on the Zoom that holds down material so we don't have to tape down the material all the time, saving a lot of time for us.
Okay, how about the time when we had that problem with the corner machine and the corners were stacking up there, and the next thing you come in with this thing that's using the air from the machine to blow off?
Yeah, so when the corners would all stack up, you'd have to reach your hand back behind it and brush them all the way, and they're very sharp corners. You get cut by them. So I came up with the idea, and this was before lean. I tried rerouting the air that's already being blown through the machine to blow the corners off. But before we had a 3D printer, I had no way to actually direct that air. Once we got a 3D printer, I was able to create something to precisely blow the air in a specific direction to blow the corners right off the back. And then we don't have to reach our hand back there anymore. It makes the job a lot easier and a lot better. And I noticed the struggle with the radius, measuring the radius on signs. It's hard to just eyeball it. So I created this little measuring tool here so we can easily identify what the radius on one of our signs is. So once we found out about the struggle of applying our stickers straight, I made this little sticker square here. This was the first rendition. I realized it needed a handle, so I added a handle to the second one here. And I realized the handle wasn't in a good spot, so I moved it down here. And this was the final product, this yellow one here.
Okay, let's go see David in here. This is a pretty amazing transformation. So this room has gone through a transformation since we started lean.
Oh yeah.
And transformation. As I recall, we were trying to get that motor fixed.
Yeah.
And I took a video of it to show the technician. And for the first time, I saw how bad this room was as far as how dirty and everything.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, we can't live in this anymore. Like every room in the company should be nice.
Yeah.
You've done a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Like from the floors to just keeping the tank clean, or you've got a standard for when you clean the tank. I love it. So what's been your impression with lean? You've been here for the whole transition from 3.5 years ago through the whole thing, the before and after. What are your thoughts?
It's been quite a journey. It's been a very interesting. everything before was kind of centralized. 2 or 3 people had most of the knowledge, and you had to go through them. And there was a lot of barriers between the departments. When you implemented Lean, it basically decentralized things, put more power into the hands of the workers so that they could improve their conditions. And the morning meetings broke down the barriers between the communication between departments was improved greatly. And I feel that communication is a big thing with just Lean. SOPs, Kanbans, Scrum trails, all that stuff just is communicating to your comrades, your teammates that how to do things and what to do things, and it helps raise the standards for everybody. And it's been really good.
Well, you've done a great job with things, so thank you very much.
No worries.
Okay, so that was our washout room. We're going to go talk to Chad now about flow. We realized that's super important to getting products out.
Oh, hey, guys. Oh, flow. Okay, so flow in this production facility is probably the most crucial aspect that we have. If you can imagine, a good, efficient flow is like taking the cart down the current to get our products to our customer in a timely manner. We realized that in our system, we needed to close and reconcile orders in a timely manner. This wasn't happening. Orders were piling up and they were getting closed at the end of the day, not allowing shipping enough time to package and deliver their product. So we repurposed this Kanban and-on light for a work order closing light, and we added an anglerfish to let everybody know how to do this. When the light goes on, there's about 6 of us in this company that can close and reconcile orders. Now when this light goes on, anyone can see it and close it. The first time that we started this Lean journey, we realized that in order to honor our customers' timelines, that we need specific things in place. And one of those was standard operating procedures. You can't have an effective, efficient flow without processes. So we have strict standard processes. We honor them, we train to them, and we never divert from our SOPs. We realized that we need a more flexible production floor. We have a rigorous employee-led cross-training program. We don't just train for specific functions. We train employees to be trainers so that we have a continuous training cycle. Before 2-second Lean, we had the tendency to do large batches when processing our orders. This led to waiting, wasted motion, overprocessing, overproduction, and potential defects being found toward the end of our production process. Since 2-second Lean, we've moved closer to a one-piece flow. This allows for a more streamlined process. We've eliminated waiting, we minimize defects by catching them early, which in turn diminishes overprocessing, excess motion. In theory, our component pieces arrive to the operator at the same time, allowing our customers to receive their products ahead of schedule. One of the key performance indicators that we're most proud about is our days in production. Before our Lean journey, we were around a 42-day in production. 3.5 years later, down this road, we're now averaging 5.8 days in production. That's reducing our days in production by 86%.
That's awesome. Thanks, Chad. We're going to go out to shipping now. Hey, everyone. This is Ruben, the best pool player I know. True statement?
Maybe.
Okay. So, hey, today we're talking to you about the pallet repair station. And the big thing with this is we've got all the tools in the right place so that when you need to make a repair, that it doesn't come off that frequently. Maybe how many a week?
A couple times a week. Depends if we've got special orders or a special pallet that needs to be built.
Yeah. So the goal is that when that time comes, we're not struggling finding stuff.
Correct.
All the tools are here. We have our slats here. We have our nail gun. And Ruben's able to just get that pallet and put it back into service. I'll tell you the other thing that he's done, and it's taken a lot of work, but all of our locations, your signage that you put up on all of our locations and everything so we can find things efficiently. What is it like for you to be able to access tools easily to do the job?
That just makes it so easy. I come in, if I need to tear it apart, it's all right here. When I put it all back together, it's all right here. We're able to utilize our scrap materials that we're normally putting into the trash. We'll utilize it to make new slats for our broken for pallets, and it just really just saving our resources. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's the goal. Save your resources, right? Like just it's the little things that add up. So I think that's awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So I want to talk to you about respect for our customer. This sticker here has a QR code that links to the reset video. The reason why this is important is we've got traffic going by here at 60, 70 miles an hour. And when this thing is impacted, our customers have to pull it out and reset it. We don't want them out in the road any longer than they need to be. So this is putting the answer where the question is asked, and the worker is able to scan that and they can watch a video on how to properly reset it. This is safer for them, safer for the motorist, and gets them out of the way. This is an example of how our lean journey has helped us and our customers because we learned about QR codes and the power that they can hold and helping serve up the customer with the information they need right where they need it. Okay, let's go in our will call office and see our respect for our customers. So this is Eric. He's going to tell us a little bit about what he's done to totally reset this room.
Thanks, Jeff. I'll tell you the first thing that's most important when people walk in, they may not have an order already. So this easy order menu has a few of our most popular items on it. The customer can just point, and it's easy as that. We know exactly what they mean. We don't have to fuss with different terms. We've got our part number and an easy to read description right there. Moving over here, once they've made their selection or tell us what they have on order, we can invite them to a complimentary beverage from this fridge. Got quite a few options here for you. Always kept pretty well stocked. And that saves customers time. That saves drivers time. That's in my mind, a respect for anybody who walks in that door is welcome to have a drink. Save a few minutes out of their day. They don't have to stop at a store later. And it brings a smile to their face. And that brings a smile to my face. We also have a coffee maker here with hot and cold water and some Keurig pods or K-Cup. In the wintertime, we also have hot cocoa and cider for our guests to warm up a little bit. Moving over here, we've got some complimentary snacks. Looks like it's running a little thin today. People really dig our snacks. There's also some snacks for our four-legged friends in case you brought yours. One thing we realize is that we do not want to keep our drivers or our clients waiting at all. That's why we installed this handy button. You press that button and we'll be there right away. This here is our pick ticket board. We keep our pick tickets organized by date, allowing us to keep our promise to the customer by making sure we get them their order on time. If we finish with today's orders, we can move on to the rest of the week. Here I've posted a QR code that leads to one of these SOPs. Seasoned and brand new teammates can use these and find them very helpful. You can either scan the front or flip to the front page and take these step-by-step instructions with you where you need them. Thanks a lot for visiting us back here in Will Call.
Okay, so this is Dominic and Wyatt. I don't know if you guys knew this, but when I was in high school and college, boom, I'd be making these guide signs. And I've noticed something about you guys. I can hear when you're making these and you guys are on point. You're killing it. You're like hammering through it. I think that this cart is part of the reason. I didn't used to have this. Dom, you laid this up where all the tools are where you need them. And Wyatt, you've been with us just a shorter amount of time. So coming into an environment that has this type of a setup, how has that helped you?
It's helped a lot with wasteful time when I'm walking back and forth. Having all these right here is really nice. All the bolts, washers, nuts, all that is ready to rock and roll in this portable container right here that I can take to my workstation where I'm working, assembling the signs. I have all my tools exactly where I'm expecting them to be, so I can grab and go. And then when I'm done with it, I have a place to put them back. I'm not worrying about where I'm going to put them to be more effective in the future. It's just right there, ready to rock and roll. And especially with assembling, these are all the tools that I use for that. They're staying together. And then I got my drill for when I'm drilling the finished product into place, and then I got the riveter like you were hearing earlier, how I can go really fast, and it's right there where I need it to be, and that's why I'm going quick.
I think it's awesome. If you guys could see what's in my mind from what it was like when I was doing this job and we didn't have these standards of cleanliness. I look at the floor, I look at everything around here. You guys are cleaning as you go, keeping it orderly and everything. And you're like on a different level from where I was at and where we were at as a company back in the day. And I think you guys focusing on the basics and getting things where you need them is really awesome. So nice work.
Hey.
So we saved a very special guest for last. This is my dad. His name's Dick. He gave me my opportunity here in the company, and I owe you a ton of gratitude, and you are my hero, and I appreciate you sitting with us today.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here, and it's nice to hear those nice things. You've never said anything nice like that before.
Well, it's all for the camera.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you sitting with us today.
Well, it's a pleasure.
What is the secret of your success? What do you think contributes to that?
I would say hard work. Simply hard work. I spent an awful lot of hours down here.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That intimidated me from working here.
Well, you talk about what you're starting to see. I have seen this in your company really from the time you started Lean. I see the results at Traffic Safety Supply from Lean, and it is mind-blowing. I mean, I've joined the group in terms of what I see of how consequential a program can be.
The most preposterous thing about Lean, when you first hear about it, 2-second Lean, is that you're going to stop and you're going to have a 15-minute meeting every morning. Every person in the company, you're gonna stand out there and you're gonna learn. You're gonna train your people, and then you're gonna go in and do another 15 to 20 minutes of cleaning and sweep, sort, standardize. I think that kills it for most Lean people right out of the gate. There's no way. Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what you said about what we've been able to do, but none of the things we do are my ideas. Those all come from the system, and that's just looking at what is your daily activity that builds the habits that get you to move forward as a team.
Yeah.
So
it's remarkable.
What are some of the most notable changes you've recognized since we started Lean?
The things that I notice most are the cleanliness. The fact that you have no clutter. It's amazing to me how clean this place is. I mean, I can remember, I don't think we ever cleaned it.
I think you'd wait for me to get here in the summer.
Yes.
And I'd clean out the wood shop. You remember that?
That's right. That's right. I do remember that. Yeah. Yeah. So the other thing that I notice is there doesn't appear to be the clutter as well in terms of products that are in production. You don't have all kinds of different jobs that are around in some degree of completeness.
Yeah, we've really focused on our work in process and trying to make sure that jobs aren't hanging out. Our customer says, I want something. Well, our job is to get it into production and get it through the system as quickly as possible and to them. So,
that would make a big difference.
Yeah. And it's resulted in just not stuff hanging around on the floor.
No. That's very impressive, I think.
Yeah. Thank you.
The other thing is that people seem to have purpose in terms of what they're doing. Everybody seems to have a mission. They know what there's to do, and they do it. So that's very interesting to me.
Yeah, we have done a deep dive into standardized work, and to make sure part of our culture is that we're only going to do better as a team if we're all adding value and making the product better and better. And if we're not, then we're kind of jeopardizing all of our opportunity if someone's not adding value. Right. So it's really important to us. So the other day on a Lean chat group, we were discussing ways that we can help our people. And I had mentioned that we offered $500 to help people quit smoking.
Right.
In fact, we just helped someone, and they took that money and they bought a bike with it.
Oh, great.
So they exchanged a bad habit for a good habit. Well, that came from you. And when I told the group about it, this is what Paul Akers said.
This is epic leadership. Brilliant. I'm going to pass this on to my team.
So this is epic leadership. Brilliant. I'm going to pass this on to my team. So something that you got started all those years ago that we've kept going. Paul Akers says, this is great. I'm going to share it with my team. And I wanted to talk about it today because it is really interesting how all of his stuff has helped us understand lean. And then something that you did so long ago goes back that he's going to share with his team. And there's no reason as the lean community that we can't share these ideas and just get better and better and better as far as respect for our people and helping them along and making sure that we're doing the right thing with everyone that adds the value in the shop. So
That's cool.
isn't that cool?
Yeah, it is.
So nice work there. I really appreciate you coming in today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it.
Means a lot to us, and hopefully to everyone that's seeing this, they got something out of your perspective.
Oh, that's good.
So
You know that I'm probably the most paranoid person in the world.
I got it from you.
So it's interesting to see how easily you share with all of the lean groups that you're in contact with. And I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, what I've realized is that without that sharing, we can't continue to get better.
No.
And we wouldn't have stayed on this journey without other people helping us. So,
And you wouldn't have gotten at all where you are today if they were all paranoid.
no, exactly. It's called, we call that being a giver.
Yeah.
And we are creating, part of the reason why we're creating this video is that we want to share that with anyone else on their journey so that they can improve.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
yeah. All right. So that's our tour. Before we wrap up, I really wanted to thank all of the people that you saw on camera and off. We have an amazing team, and there have been so many people that contributed in this video that we haven't seen, but they have been behind the scenes. We have people in our group that are passionate about lean. We have people that are growing in their understanding of lean. But the point is that we're all on the path to continuous improvement. Today, we've shown you how we do morning meetings, how we 3S after every meeting. We do this every day. This is our kata. This is our routine. We've looked at our lean cave, the importance of Kanban cards, why SOPs really, really matter, the importance of flow, 2-second improvements, and how those are so impactful because it's the accumulation of all of these improvements that help relieve so much struggle. We really looked at unused employee genius, respect for our resources, respect for our customers. We've talked to my dad and gotten his perspective of what our journey has been like. We've shown you all these things so that you can understand the pieces of lean, the pieces that Paul talks about in his book, 2-Second Lean. When we first started, I would see companies like FastCap that seemed to be on a different planet. And in reading the book, I didn't fully understand what it would feel like to be in an organization that had put all these things together. It is truly the sum of all the parts, the sum of all the 2-second improvements, the sum of the different systems like Kanban and SOPs and everything. And you will gradually feel a sense of relief the further down the road of continuous improvement you go. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate the opportunity that AME and 2-Second Lean have given us, and we're going to turn it back to you.
Right?
Incredible.
I can't even speak. It's so incredible.
Incredible.
Richard,
Absolutely.
Question. Wow.
Absolutely incredible. Okay, so let's have a look at the questions that we've got. He's got a question. What do you mean by days in production?
So we have this bad habit. Okay, so if you don't have Kanban cards for your consumables, let's just say that, you don't have all the pieces required to make a finished product. So what would happen is we would start a project to make it, and it would be in a semi-finished state. and then we wouldn't have the things to finish it. And then you get the whole, who orders that? Where? Oh, that's John. Okay, well, John, do you? Oh no, that's Bob. And so you go around in these circles of not knowing that you don't have all the ingredients to bake the cake. And so the cake just sits on the floor and it gets old and it hangs around. And then, well, let's start the next project. And I would say that when we first found lean, what I think I was really trying to solve for our people is I started, like, there's a lot, as you're learning to run a company, there is a lot of things. There's a lot of bases to cover. And you don't really realize what your job is as a leader. And the further you get into it, you start realizing, wait a minute, I need to be solving these problems for our people. And I became acutely aware of our waste and frustrated by why things happen the way we were, and how we would do things. And so I just simply wanted to solve that problem for us and our people, because I don't think there's anything worse than you can do is have someone on your team start to make something and we got to get it out and the customer's calling and they need it. And then that project just hangs out on the floor and they're looking at their work and they're looking at a semi-finished state of a project and we're tripping over it and it's hanging out. So that's what it meant by 42 days in production. We kept opening orders, but we couldn't finish them. And then we would just hang out. And
what are you at now?
Yeah.
What are you at now?
5.8 days. So we don't start a job unless we have all the materials to finish it. And so some of that was making sure our trigger points are right in our ERP system. But more than not, it's all the consumables that are really hard to put in an ERP system. It's hard to know how much ink you're going to consume or how many rivets you need. And so you find yourself either over purchasing and having way more than you need because you don't want to get bit by running out, or so either you have way too much inventory, but guess what? That gotcha is going to come eventually. And then when it does, it's been so long since you've ordered the product and you haven't made it easy to find who we order it from, what's the quantity, what's the right stocking level, that becomes a struggle too. And so it's kind of death by 1,000 cuts. It's all of these little things that just kind of pile on your team. And a lot of times, if you're not on the floor and if you don't see that, this is happening to people
everywhere, every day.
All across your organization, it's happening, and you don't see it, but they feel it, and it feels like load. It feels like burden on the company.
Yeah.
And when I found lean, you realize that if you have the right countermeasures in place, that gets to go away. You don't need that anymore. You don't have to live and your people don't have to live like that. And so I would say that's been the biggest thing for me is you just start to feel this haze lift.
Weight go off.
Yeah.
So let's tap into a reflection for you. So this is a question from Alex. So now that you fully understand what 2-second lean is and how to implement it, what do you think your number one biggest mistake was in your journey? What will you do different if you started the journey again?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I would be much more patient about the implementation. I would start.
How were you not patient? How were you not patient? What did it look like?
We part of this lean journey is you're like, as a group moving forward as a team, you're growing. And we went from very undefined standards of performance. And so,
but how were you not patient? What did it look like?
Well, what it looked like is me pushing our people. I can recall distinctly three meetings that the meeting, it was so bad, and I came up to my office and I didn't talk to the rest of the company the rest of the day because I was just so frustrated I saw Tom Hughes on here. He helped us with SOPs one day, and I was saying how frustrated I was, and he kind of pulled his Eastern, like I love Tom. We connect on a lot of levels, and he said, Jeff, that frustration comes from within you. No one's putting that emotion on you. That's your emotion. And I was sitting in a room with like 5 or 6 different people in our company. And it was almost like Tom called me out, but it's what I needed to hear. And the reality is, if we are putting the right procedures in place, I don't need to feel frustrated about anything. That it's not having the right systems or the right processes that allow that frustration to creep in. And you're wasting your human potential. You're wasting your God-given abilities to live a good life.
So next time, more patience. Okay. So
Yeah.
probably following on from that, Robert is asking, did top management at your company make lean an expectation in order to get the ball rolling?
Yeah, but 100% we did. But we when we implemented lean, I had some people that were right by my side, and some other people. I think my messaging was maybe wrong because if you look at the value versus non-value, I'm asking people to let's do lean, but I don't know that I did a great job of really explaining it, even though we listened to the book, even though we looked at other resources.
What should you have done differently? What should you have done differently? Specific details.
I should have embedded myself with people and helped them more.
Got on the Gemba.
More of the pull. More of the pull. I was on the Gemba. What's interesting, Paul, is you had a leadership meeting the other day where I heard this interesting concept, and some of what we do is manufactured and a lot is distributed. And the concept that the Gemba isn't always where you make things. And if you're a distribution company, the Gemba is a variety of places in the offices, your processes, things like that. And I was always looking at the Gemba as where we actually are making the science. And yes, I have to be there, but I also have to be with our customer service team. I have to be with our salespeople, and I have to be with our purchasers. And so I've been a very present, stable person within this company. But I just think that when I got frustrated with our lack of progress, and I would see your company, Paul, I would see other companies that were ahead in their journey. On the Lean Maniacs group that you got me on, right? With Dave Lalonic, I would see all these people that were ahead of us, and I became impatient with why weren't we there yet? And so I started pushing a little too much, and I don't know if I could have picked a worse time to implement Lean, because it was right after COVID. It was a year after COVID. It was difficult time in our world, and then here's this guy Jeff that's pushing lean on the team, and it started to get a little bit of a bad taste. And if I could, and here's the thing, like I don't have any other plans to like I probably get one shot at implementing lean, and there's people that are hopefully tuning in that can see this, and if they're in lean, work with your people, be patient, show them how the positive improvements, but don't push them, because I just did that at a level that it didn't help with our transition.
Well, you know what? I'm going to challenge you. I'd love to see a video exactly what that looks like, because I'm still not clear what it looks like, because based on the results that I saw, you did it perfectly.
Yeah.
That's what you've accomplished in 3 years. That's magnificent.
Thank you. And I think, there's that, what's that concept about the gap and the gain, right? And be grateful for what you have and don't look at what you don't have. And I think that what I was doing when I was pushing too hard is I was looking at what I didn't have. And what I've realized is, no, you can't buy lean. You can't, like, if you're not doing the daily routine, if you're not committed in what you're doing, it's not something you can buy. It's something that you have to slow. Like I saw two two of our teammates that just got back. They were on vacation a couple days, and just in our morning meeting this morning, they came in and like they're great people, but just the other teammates really happy to see them, and really like there's a feeling that's happening in this company that I've never felt before.
It's a family.
And yeah, it's really,
it's a family.
It's really healthy.
So
Yeah.
that
Richard,
leads to a question that Tom had. I want to do that before I get to John and Dan. Did you have any individuals along the way who resisted, and how did you deal with them?
We did, and that goes back. I think I probably could have pulled
Jeff,
them.
I'm going to limit you. I'm going to limit you to 60 seconds on this answer.
Yeah.
Because we have
Okay.
too many questions.
Yeah,
60
we did.
seconds. So I'm going to interrupt you.
We lost 25% of our staff through our implementation, and that's because I led it wrong.
Okay.
And yeah, we had plenty of people that
20%. That's it.
25.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Change the people or change the people.
It was painful.
Okay. So quick question. Which program are you using for your 3D printer? Do you know?
I couldn't tell you. I don't.
Okay. We'll find out.
If you asked me that question, I couldn't answer it either.
We'll let John Panic know which one it is, John. Okay. From Dan, this is a technical question. Is Traffic Safety Supply affiliated with NWHPEC in the Portland area? NWHPEC. I've no idea what it stands for.
No, me neither.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Okay.
Not
So
sure.
we're not. Next question.
Next question. How many hours a week did you work before you started 2-second lean? And once you started, and how many hours do you work today?
Personally, right? Is this a
personally? Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good question, actually.
I would. I have a very good balance of life. I have a very. I probably. I don't know. I would put it right around 40. Before lean, it was a little bit more. It's just it's not so much about how much time it saved me. It's that what I can focus on now. I'm not focused on the
right. So the question: how many hours a week
You're
before
not
lean?
firefighting.
I was 40 to 45 before, and a lot of slippage and no ability to really work on the company. I was working more in the company, and
now how many hours now?
Now a similar number of hours, but I'm being able to be more thoughtful about where we're going, and that's my job as a leader, is to lead us towards greener pastures as a company.
Okay.
Right.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's it. We're there.
Okay. You know, I tell you, I had an epiphany during this whole thing that I've never had before. And we always say that we want our ideas to come from the Gemba. All these great ideas come from our Gemba people. But with the 2SL community, we have a global Gemba.
Absolutely.
All these ideas you have, it's the global Gemba. All the ideas you got from everybody all over the world, the Lean Cape from Alex, and on and on and on.
Yep.
We have a global Gemba that is so much more powerful. We haven't got the brain power of just our people. We have the brain power of people all over the world. Can you imagine what that does for organizations? Staggering.
Yep. Yeah. It's fantastic. Okay, I've got one more question from Putra. You mentioned to be patient with the transformation, but if you are a mid-level employee trying to implement lean, what would be your advice to help appease senior leadership who wants immediate results and metrics to show progress?
Ooh, that's a good one. I remember wanting to paint the walls in this building, and there's no way I could show you an ROI on why it made sense to paint the inside walls. But guess what? When you come work and they're gray walls and it's dark and dingy, it just emotionally feels really bad. So I don't know. When we started lean, we were tracking everything. Oh, we saved 10 minutes and we saved, we had a spreadsheet and everything, and we gave that up after a couple months because that's not what it's about. And
your advice is stop worrying about that. Just make work better, make the environment better for everyone.
I would say that mid-level employee, just keep working on little things. We all have time in our day. I know that's one thing I know, is that we all have time in our day. So if you're a mid-level employee and you're having trouble come work here. If you come work here, I would love that kind of someone that's passionate about lean that wants to join our team. But
I couldn't agree more. If when people don't get it, I think, oh my gosh.
He's on my Lean Fireside chat group, and I'm going to be talking to him in about half an hour. So he's a good guy in Toronto area. All right, the team. There's the team. Absolutely incredible, Jeff. You've got another family there, and you've also got a family with the global 2-second lean community. Our next event, Wednesday, November 13th. We've not got anything in October because we've got the conference, and we do a blackout to focus on the conference in October. But we've got the 13th, Wednesday the 13th. We're going to visit Husky Building Supply. Absolutely incredible.
That should be amazing.
That'll be amazing as well. And I want a big call out for our conference, October 28th to the 31st. I have been to many, many of these, and it's amazing the amount of people you meet. It's like the global community, the networking with passionate lean maniacs just like yourself. And by the way, it is not a consultant conference. It's a practitioner to practitioner. So you got people like Paul and Jeff who share their experiences with you and are willing to help. And you've got like 4 days of really close networking. And by the way, watching today, you're going to get a huge discount, about a 40 to 45% discount if you use the code NP-2SL. So you'll get it to $1,440 US if you come and join us on October 28th to 31st in Atlanta. We'd love to see you there.
Brought to you by AME and paulakers.net, where you can find all my books and resources on my website, paulakers.net, for free. You can even get my new app, 2-Second Lean Play, where I have all my books available in 9 languages in the audio format, designed for you to listen while you work and play at paulakers.net or Lean Play.
Everyone, thank you so much.